Hey everyone, how's it going? Matt here and welcome back to the channel. So I've been seeing this question a lot, so I figured I would try to help some people out. So a lot of people, you know, they're getting ready to take delivery of their Model Y, and the question I hear the most is there some sort of checklist or what kind of thing should I be looking at when taking delivery of my Model Y? So I'm filming this video. I'll just be kind of going over some of the stuff you should be looking for in the exterior of the car, some stuff to be looking at the interior of the car before you take delivery. So let's get started. All right, so for the exterior, one of the first things that I like to look at is just the overall condition of the exterior. Also, I do apologize for the background noise. It's that thing over there, and it's a tad bit windy. I think the heat's finally on here. It's in the mid 30s here in South Carolina. But going back to the car, yep, I like to tackle all these tasks just one at a time. So instead of looking at the wheels, looking at the exterior and all that, I just focus on one thing at a time. So first thing I'm going to look at is just the overall exterior of the car, and that's the paint basically. So first thing I want to check for is just make sure not only is the paint just flaw free, but I also like to check on the overall, just the paint quality, meaning do all the panels match, does everything match? Because I remember Tesla had a huge issue with that a while back, where parts of the car would actually be different shades of white. I know white's been a horrible color for matching paint, so Tesla had a big issue with that. So I just like to do just a quick walk around, just make sure that everything is in order. And also what I include with that as well is just the quality of the paint, making sure there's no impurities or nothing in the paint. If you saw one of my previous videos, when I first took delivery of my Model Y, there were these little specks, like these orange specks that were all over the hood of my car. And the delivery advisor told me, oh, it's just sap, it's okay. I'm like, oh, no big deal, I'll go wash it. Get home, turns out it did not come out. And one of my subscribers actually commented that it was iron deposit. So I had to go out and buy some iron spray just to remove all that. So now we're good there. So now we've inspected the exterior of the car, inspected the paint. Next, I'm going to move on to the wheels. So for those of you that don't know, when you get your VIN assigned, that basically means the vehicle is built and that it's still at Fremont or wherever, it'll be soon to be Texas, but it's basically at the factory, built, and it's just waiting to be shipped out. So I'm here on the East Coast, so the vehicle is basically put on a rail car, shipped all the way to, I think, Birmingham, Alabama, and then finally driven here by semi, which Tesla actually contracts that out. They don't do all that themselves, so they're kind of relying on a third party to deliver vehicles. But you may see sometimes, like I said, the rim could end up getting scratched. So I like to do is, and I said, yeah, my car rims are a little dirty, but I apologize for that. But I like to look at each of the rims and just make sure that they're not scratched or anything like that, or bent or damaged. Because even though, yes, technically you do have 24 hours to report anything wrong to Tesla with your vehicle, I would like to say the rims are excluded from this. Like if you get home and you're like, oh crap, my rim is scratched, I think you're kind of SOL on that one. Especially since, you drove it home, there's a possibility your rim could have gotten scratched on the way home. So I just like to look at all the rims and make sure that they're just perfect, just the way I want. It's a big tip. If there's something that's wrong with the car, don't drive off the lot with the car. Make them fix it there on the spot, especially if it's dirty or anything like that. But now that we've inspected the rims, next we're going to inspect panel gaps, which Tesla has gotten a lot better about their panel gaps. I've seen some horror stories about people's vehicles. But what I like to do is I just like to look at the, just make sure that everything is nice and aligned and that everything is proper with the vehicle. One thing to tell if you do have panel gaps is to look at just kind of look at how flush. Make sure that your trim on your vehicle is flush, because I've seen sometimes where this will be raised a little bit, it's a pretty big deal. But looking here, yep, not seeing any panel gaps, nothing too crazy. And if there are panel gaps, it's something so minimal that I honestly don't notice it, nor do I care. But yep, honestly, when you inspect the exterior of your car, you should definitely plan to probably walk around this car I'm not even lying, probably 6 to 9 times at least, just looking at your vehicle. And plus, you'll just be overall admiring the beauty of your car, because wow, this thing is still gorgeous even after 5,000 miles, other than it's a little dirty. All right, but now that we've inspected the exterior, we've looked at the rims, we've done everything, we've looked at for panel gaps, I like to go into the panel gaps portion a little more. Is like I like to open all of the doors just to make sure that they open and close properly, make sure there's no like rattles or squeals or anything. Because yeah, I've seen sometimes where like sometimes this might scrape a little bit, or just because the door's maybe not perfectly aligned, that it might cause damage to the vehicle. So, and this also includes the trunk as well. I like to open the trunk, just make sure that it opens properly. Yep, so it opens. Now that it closes. So we open up our vehicle, and we want to make sure that the glass actually goes back into the inseam of the vehicle. Because I've seen sometimes with this rubber seal, when you open your door, it's supposed to go back up, but I've seen sometimes where the glass actually might kind of get stuck a little bit. So we want to make sure that that closes properly as well. I would say, yep, open the front as well. Actually, I'll show you. I'll just open the front for you. So open the front is simple. You just press on the button. So yeah, make sure our front opens properly and that we are able to close it. Always a reminder, when you do close your front, close it with 2 hands versus not one. You want to basically place your fingertips on each side of the Tesla logo here, just to make sure that it closes properly. So stand by just a quick sec. And the front is closed. I hate using the front for this exact reason. You can see the fingerprints everywhere. It's kind of gross, but it is the ultimate flex to put your groceries in your front versus your trunk. All right, then last but not least, for the exterior, one thing I like to look at as well is just to make sure my Tesla logo is actually aligned. Because, you know, these are put on by hand at the factory, so you want to make sure that's just nice and center and that it looks good and that it's not like tilted in any way. Then we go to the rear as well. Yeah, make sure our Tesla logo is just perfectly aligned. Dual motor badging looks good. It's in the proper spot it's supposed to be. But overall, that concludes everything on the exterior of the car. And now we're just going to admire it one more time because this car is amazing. And now we'll move on to the interior of the car. All right, now inspecting the interior, the first thing we want to look for is just to make sure that the interior overall is clean, especially the seats. If you ordered white seats, first thing I want to look at, just make sure that these seats are actually clean. Make sure there's no stains or anything on it, especially since, like, you know, a factory is pretty dirty. So I've seen pics of, like, you know, like dirty handprints on the interior and all that. So I just look at all of the seats, just make sure that everything is clean and to my satisfaction. So people think that they just look at the seats and they're good to go. Very, very wrong. Another thing you want to look at as well is the headliner. I've seen a lot of pics as well where the headliner is just filthy, and if you try to clean a headliner, it's not easy. So I want to just make sure that the headliner overall is clean, is just free of any stains. And also this includes any gaps as well in the in this pillar right here. See, like, this is like how flush this is. You want to make sure that that's flush, because if it's a little bit loose or anything like that, you'll probably have to have mobile service just come out and fix it. And so the next, honestly, so the next thing I do is I turn on everything. So I turn on the AC, I run the heat. I also make sure that all my seat heaters work as well. So I'm going to turn all those bad boys on, including the heated steering wheel. I just want to make sure everything works before I drive off the lot with it. And so with the heated steering wheel, if you've never owned one before, it's quite interesting. Like, see, it's already hot. I can feel it. Within 10 seconds, the car steering wheel is already hot. I can even feel it in my heated seat as well. And I love this Tesla feature. You can just turn them all off if necessary. And so the next as well, something I like to make sure too is I just want to make sure that that everything opens and closes properly. So to just make sure it's nice and smooth. And some things I check for too, just to make sure that all this works as well. And if you haven't noticed, this is a magnet now, which is kind of cool. It's not a clip-in like I've seen in previous Tesla models, so all it is just magnetically attaches and detaches. Also, something to look at as well is the steering wheel. Sorry, it's a little dirty, but so I've seen some brand new Model S's that will have some weird like vein looking thing in the steering wheel, and honestly that just looks gross. Like, I'm really surprised that that got through, got past Tesla. I would have probably not even used that. Yeah, but now, so we've looked at, we make sure everything is proper. We've looked at all the seats, make sure everything is good with that. So it's something else that I like to do as well, is I want to make sure that everything, all my USB ports and all that charge properly. So we have our wireless charging pad here. I'll put my phone on that just to make sure everything works. You also have 2 additional USB-C ports right here as well. And so I bring my USB-C cable and just make sure all that works. You also have an additional USB, like a standard USB, here in the trunk. I don't know if you can, or trunk, in the glove box here. So this is your standard USB that actually comes with the Tesla. It's now a 128 gigabyte. And this is for all your Sentry mode footage and your boombox feature and all that. But I just want to make sure that works as well. Make sure that you can record your Sentry mode footage and all that. All right, this is going to be an odd thing to look at, but apparently this is something that we need to go over as well. Making sure that all these door panels are the same. I've seen some Teslas that are getting delivered with, maybe they'll have a, if you have white interior, it might have a white panel here, and then it could still have like a black Alcantara one on the other side. So I just want to go over, just look at all these and just make sure that all these are the same. So yep, so we have white panels on all these. So at least everything is the same. Also, in addition, there's also 2 USB-C ports in the back here. I forgot to mention previously. And also, going into the interior, something else I like to make sure that works as well is that my electronic seats fold down. So here we go. Sweet. So we know that the power folding seats work. They do not power fold back up. You got to do that manually, but no big deal. All right, everyone, that's all I got for you today. If you did enjoy this video and you found it to be very useful, please consider giving it that thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel and have not subscribed yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It definitely helps me out a lot. And if there's any questions, maybe stuff that I didn't answer for you, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. See ya!